So what I've done is I've retrieved my actor without the acting. So I got for the FFD I got a frame at frame 0 where it's actually a cube. And what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to make an interaction between two objects. And it's going to be a ball coming from high up here and hitting the cube and bouncing off the floor, and the cube is falling over. All right, let's go. Let's introduce a ball. It's pretty big, so I'm just gonna change it to like half the size, give it a little bit more subdivision for the rendering later on, that it looks nice and smooth. And I'm not gonna add a pivot point underneath. I'm just gonna wing it at this time, and I'm just gonna move all this to the lower left hand corner. So I got this sphere, and it starts off right here. This is where it's gonna drop onto the cube. So I've switched off point level animation, switched on the movement, and I'll just give it a keyframe here. And let's see, how long is it gonna take? A little under a second, so like 18, and it hits the cube. Now I'm clipping it through the cube. This is the action. Later on, I'm going to animate the cube, and that's going to be the reaction. And you don't do these things simultaneously. All right, let's give it a whirl. Yeah, and then it bounces off to the floor. I'm just winging it here, so this is the imaginary floor, and it should hit it at 27. Yeah, 27, something like that. We can edit that later on. And it bounces up a little bit, so the bounce takes like 4 or 5 seconds, frames. And so it moves down here, and then it rolls out here. I should first always move the time slider. Ray, you know this. Let's see, almost at 2 seconds. Move the ball and give it a keyframe. Right, this is what we have to start off with. Now we can edit the animation curves. So I just opened with Shift F3. I opened the keyframe animations and go straight over to the spline animations, the animation curves. Now I see 3 splines. I first want to focus on this one. This one doesn't do much, does it? Because all the values are at 0. This is called a static action. That's why in previous videos I actually animated by clicking on the separate parameters keyframe button sorry, instead of hitting the general keyframe button. Why? Because this doesn't do anything. So I might as well just get rid of it. Now, the Y and the Z have values. If I push the H again, they have fluctuating values. Now, let's first go to the Y. This is where it basically comes out of the air, it drops down, and here we should have normally a pretty sharp bounce, but the bounce is actually over the Z-axis. So this is fine. Here it bounces on the floor. So maybe we should actually unhook these tangent handles like this, and here it bounces up. So the value increases, it bounces up. Wait a second. I should hit this one. It bounces up like this. And here it stays down. So let's move this one over here. And here it stays on the floor. It just rolls out. So actually, this last keyframe I don't need. Because from this moment on, it just stays that way. By the way, if you want to have it exact, I can just do it at, say, 50. See, I can actually, at the attributes window, set the keyframe values like this, numerically. Right, so what do we got? We got this now. We got this, and then it should go a little bit up here over the Y. So let's see. It should go a little bit up. All right. Let's move this up. And then this should hit again and not be smooth. Kind of like this. So the Y looks pretty good. The Z has to have a sharp edge here because here it hits and it bounces back. So let's move these like this. Let's see. No, not like that. Like this and like this. Not too much. As long as it has a sharp edge here. Let's move this one. Nope. Kind of like a straight line. That works best. So now it comes in with a slight curve. Maybe move this. Hang on. Yeah, something like that. The rest all works fine because this has a slow out, or sorry, slow in, I should say. And let's make this sharp. Let's see. Now we've got the ball going in, bouncing off the cube, bouncing off the floor, bouncing again, and rolling out. Maybe this should be a little bit over to the right, and let's do it this way. See, you can do it actually in the editor itself. All right, on to the next.